Hello, hello, and welcome to New World Aeternum Weekly, episode 21. March update. New World is back, baby. I am your host, Kai Zen. I just cracked open a Boulevard Brewing Company cinnamon bun ale. This shit is delicious. And after that, I've got three dragon milks in the chamber, so I am good to go. With me today, we've got WOLFDRAGON, my main man, the XO. What's up, Wolf? Oh, wait a second. Let me unmute you. That will work way better. There you go.
Oh,
what's up, Wolf?
Awesome technical fun. Hey everyone, how's it going? I've got a bottle of Boulevard Brewing Company's limited release for 2022 chocolate ale. I don't normally like people fucking around with my beers too much. But this one's really good.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And we also have ARKHAVEN. What you drinking tonight?
Yo, what up, man? I was drinking a lot of red wine, but I've since switched to water.
Okay.
Sadly.
Fair enough. We've got a lot to talk about today. So, first off, we have had a full week now to play with the February update, and I have to say, last week we had a partial week. Now we had a full week and a partial week. So it's been like a week and a half, right, since the February update. I am loving it. I feel like the quality of life fixes that they made to this game with the February update were incredible. I cannot overstate how different this game feels. Remember the meme from before with the whole thing where somebody had posted something super sus on the New World Twitter account. It feels good different. Well, like legit, it feels fucking good different. This game, and don't get me wrong, I've stuck with it. I have not jumped off the bandwagon and jumped into playing everything else. I am playing Lost Ark, sure, but if you take the amount of time that I play Lost Ark and compare it to the time that I spend on New World is vastly the majority of my gaming and has remained so. And I have to say that even though I was playing the game nonstop, I was still playing it every day during this time where others had sort of left. I had seen people's interest waning in the game, people leaving, people who didn't leave just playing less, people whatever. And I am seeing people coming back to the game. I am seeing people that were having burnout. That burnout is like literally, I've had more than one person telling me I was getting burnt out with the game, but I'm back now. I'm having so much more fun, yada, yada, yada. New World, I think, is fucking, it's on the come up hard, and it not just me. Other content creators are noticing it. People, Damone Kim, Invin, Lamani, a lot of the content creators around New World have just had so much positive to say about the way this February patch feels. Teleporting is basically free. Umbrals, they're helping you get caught up. They're giving you stuff, like more stuff with quests, so leveling is easier. Leveling crafters is easier. There's so many things that are just where it's easier to get keys, orbs to get into stuff. And everybody knows I'm not a fan of the orb system, but I will say that what they're doing here now is at least a step in the right direction. They're making it much less of a hassle. In every way that I can describe, this game feels 300% better to play this week than it did 3 weeks ago. That's my experience after the first full week. Like I said, last week was a partial week. This is the full week of us having this patch. Wolf, why don't we get your feelings on all that and or comments on anything I said?
Yeah, I dude, I know I didn't have anywhere near as much stuff just squirreled away in all the different places around Aeternum that you did, but you hit the nail on the head. Teleporting is essentially free. Um, do do some missions. Go do stuff in the game with the different like dungeons that you can do. Pick up a group, go run with friends, however you want it. Um, does OPR give Azoth now or no?
Oh yeah, it
I don't
always
think it.
has. It
Yeah,
always
it
has.
always has. You go run OPR, or go craft yourself or buy yourself. Beg, borrow, and steal a tool. For one of the gathering type loops, and it's like, oh man, I don't have any Azoth to go do this. You take your pick of whatever tickles your fancy, and congratulations. It really doesn't matter where you're going or how much you weigh, you're gonna get there and have Azoth just to throw on the ground at the end of the day.
If
Like,
you're
it is
playing,
fantastic.
if you're playing like a regular player, you can't run out of Azoth. Even if you jump around 50 different times, you then kill stuff. Whatever Azoth just comes in. Like
Mhm.
you have to try really hard to run out of Azoth. You just can't. And if you do,
I
God forbid, you could buy those little vials of Azoth water for like $2-3 now on the market board. Like the price is
Yeah,
tanked on those hard.
yeah, the prices used to be high, and I made a little bit of coin
I told you
selling
it was
mine off
coming.
before,
I
and
I
yeah,
told
like
you.
the only people I think would quote unquote need the Azoth bottles are the people who are just doing those massive crafting runs and they're just throwing Azoth at it. But like you were saying, like a general player, run around, do whatever. I play the game pretty damn casually. I'm always at max Azoth cap. Like I can't get rid of the stuff.
Anything else that you have on feel? How would you say it feels now to play New World compared to 2 weeks ago?
Um, well, OPR is definitely a lot more fun.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
I'm no longer just running around trying to get my trees cut down or killing the different NPC mobs that are there and try to sneak into whichever base and drop off crap to get more tokens.
You're
Like
actually having fun
I
playing
don't
it.
I don't have a PvP build. Like I'm just going in there in my normal dungeon running gear, like Void Vent with Onyx and a great axe and a hammer, both with opals. And like I might switch it up just for funsies, just to swing around a different weapon. But it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna jump in the middle of the fray, and I'm gonna get my ass handed to me. Like that is what it is. My K over D is very in the wrong direction for anybody to think of as good. And 2-3 engagements and you'll get that 500 point tick. And guess what? You're getting credit. Now you can do whatever you want. And to be honest, I'm gonna keep jumping into this and wailing on things because why not?
Yeah, I will say
And
in our voice chat from our tight group, Ark enjoyed Outpost Rush before. Every last other person in our sort of channel pretty much universally despised Outpost Rush. And now we legitimately are just signing up to do it for fun. Like for fun, not even for the reward, for fun. Like we were giggling playing Outpost Rush, killing fools just for funsies. Ark, your thoughts after your feels on how the game feels after the February update.
Yeah, man, I freaking love it. It's back to like feels normal again. You know what I mean? Like these last I don't know how long it was, month, I don't know, months. Just felt like with Outpost Rush dead, it just I was struggling to kind of want to play the thing that I really like. Um, I had to play like other modes and stuff that I don't play as much. But I'm really impressed just on how they've done enough to these last few days. It's been so easy for me to play the game. Like, I haven't felt like I'm doing something I don't like. I haven't felt like it's a job and I can't do the things I really want to do. Just getting gypsum and so forth to to advance my character. I'm advancing my character, playing the game modes I want to play. I just love it, man. I think it's been great changes. I don't really have any complaints, to be honest. But besides, the other niceties that we'd want to see come in and out, there's so much good stuff coming out. Like I haven't even got to read all the stuff that's coming out.
I
I feel like to stand on the stuff I like, but I haven't even got to read all the stuff that's in the stuff.
I love the changes across the board. There's not a single change that they made to Outpost Rush that I didn't love. There's two changes that have not been made yet that I feel need to be made, and one of which I know is already in the March PTR. We're going to talk about it. It's already there. That's great. The two things that they did not fix in Outpost Rush that I really want, well, there's two things, and then there's a major design decision, and that's a whole other issue that they're going to have to do on a big thing. The biggest thing they need to change on Outpost Rush is they need to make it cross-server, and they need to have some MMR. They need to have some sort of balancing that it puts players of approximate skill levels together. That would be great. But that's a bigger issue, and that's a down-the-road thing. The two small changes that need to be made, in my opinion, to Outpost Rush is, number one, you need to get points for capturing the point. And that is already in the March update. That is coming. You can play Outpost Rush right now on the PTR, and that is there. The other thing that needs to come in Outpost Rush is they need to change how getting the Baron works. It does not need to be the last hit that caused quote-unquote death. It needs to be whoever did the majority of the work. Today, I was in an Outpost Rush. There were 12-ish blues all around it. There was not a single red in the circle, not a single red contesting. There was one red on the far outside with a musket who, hey, hats off to him. The guy had talent. He timed it exactly perfectly. He got the kill. It locked our score out. With half of the entire fucking Outpost Rush blue team, our team, were in there. There was one red guy far on the outside, and he just timed it goddamn perfectly and got the kill. That felt real bad. That needs to be fixed. A third thing that I didn't even know that I wanted until I just found out about it not that long ago, like literally today from the test, the PTR. Right now in the PTR, how they said, hey, you're going to be able to click to sign up for wars and stuff from the map. You can also sign up from Outpost Rush. If you hit escape from anywhere in the game, you know how that brings up like the store and the main menu, like to exit, to log out, and this, that, and the other. A button shows up that says game mode, and you can pick Outpost Rush as a game mode and just load into it. You can queue from out in the world. So if you're a guy who you only like two things, you like fishing and Outpost Rush PvP, well, you can do both without any hassle. And I think, god damn, that's a beautiful thing. Guys, what do you think to my proposed 3 changes, really, and my acknowledgement of the awesome free change that they already did? We'll start with Ark first. This is your thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, all that stuff. Like I read that too about the being able to queue up from wherever, and I didn't see Outpost Rush, and I was like, oh,
It was not.
Seems like an opportunity.
It wasn't announced anywhere. They didn't even talk about it in the thing, but people that are playing the PTR found it. So it was a completely stealth upgrade.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome, man. Like I said, that's going to change. That just on its own is going to change. The way people can do the things, as you say, they like to do and enjoy the game. Like who wants to be able to like ask a buddy, hey man, can you light me in a group just to flag us for Outpost? Like who wants to do that madness?
Yep.
It just seems like you mentioned the other day, and it keeps residing with me. You mentioned, that Nomansky. You made a comparison to the game with Nomansky, and Nomansky's a game that just historically just wants people to have fun, and they don't really care, about blocking anything or or whatever else from the player. Let the player just have fun, and it seems like they're on that pathway. They're on the pathway to just making things a lot easier to enjoy the game,
Mm.
not locking it behind some silliness.
Mm. Yep. Wolf, what do you think of those changes?
I mean, I think the biggest one, with the whole stealth thing on the PTR of, hey, you want to do this, you want to do this, and oh, by the way, we'll even let you do this too. Like, that's awesome. The number of times it's been, all right, I've got to go run to a town to do the thing, or I don't feel like running to a town. I've got to figure out which of my houses or my inn that I want to burn to do that, and then I'm there. I can talk with the faction guy to get into the OPR. Like, that was, it's less of a hassle now. I mean, especially if I'm doing the just burn a free jump kind of way, but just being able to be like, all right, I'm doing this. I'll queue for OPR. I'll go do whatever. Because like, if I'm out, trying to gather some materials or whatnot for something I want to craft, like, having to go to the town and then however long it takes me to try and get out of the town to go back to the area that I was working, like, that's a bit of a pain.
Hmm.
And the OPR will just drop you back into the world where you were. I wish they would do that with wars, but
Yeah, right.
not wars. Yeah, with
Invasions,
wars,
wars,
invasions and
either
whatnot.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like it's the same basic idea. Come on.
Mhm.
But it lets the game be more of, I want to do this, but when I can get in that queue and it pops up and it launches, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
And it takes away the running simulator part of things, and that's nice. As far as a change that I wish they would made, you're spot on with the Baroness. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's so demoralizing. Even now, when it's just we're doing it because we're enjoying it. It's like, all right, yeah, we got her, we brought her down. This is gonna be great. Those guys are gonna get screwed, and all of a sudden, that one lucky shot from whatever ranged attack, just there's at last 1 health point of damage, and they win. It's like, no, there's got to be some sort of aggregate who did the whatever.
Mm.
And it shouldn't be that hard to do. Come on.
Yeah.
But I realize that's not exactly low hanging fruit, and they're working on other things, and they've been working on other things, and it's awesome.
Right. So I want to just, again, we've already talked about a lot of these things, but I want to give you just, in my view, the highlights of what this last week has felt for me. Number one, Umbrals are just flying in at us. Wait a second. This isn't today's the 6th. Yeah. This isn't that we had a partial week, whatever. We literally got the thing on Monday, right? It was this last Monday. So this was our first week really of having these changes. And here's what I'm feeling like. Number one, my gear score is like 623. Just Umbrals, all of the hassle with the Umbral climb just basically removed. It's made it such that people can catch up easy. I have 3 alts. I'm playing my alts and leveling and having fun with that. Just so awesome. Teleports are now free. Outpost Rush went from a pain in the balls to actually fun for me. There are some people that loved it before, but for me, it was a pain in the balls, and now it's fun. Crafting and gathering got easier. The new smelting set, I have a full set. It's fucking amazing. They fixed a whole lot of weird shit that didn't tie to anything. Woodworkers gloves in the game now. I'd never seen them before, but they claimed that they were around, but I'd never seen them. Stuff was like fixed on the market board and updated to where you could actually search for the stuff that you wanted. Azoth is basically a non-entity. I all of these things and the capper, like a thing that would have been the headline in any other patch but got lost in how amazing everything else was in this patch. Housing tax is basically fucking free. They nerfed it down to 0.1% at the low end to 1% at the high end. I sold my 2 little houses and bought 2 more mansions, and I didn't need them to be tactically spaced for teleports anymore. So I've got a mansion in Windsworth that I retained. I sold my little house in Ebonscale and bought a mansion in Everfall. I sold my little house in Morningdale and bought a mansion in Brightwood. Now I have a straight line down the middle of 3 mansions, which I was able to just teleport around like 80 fucking times and grab stuff and move this here and move that here and sort of rejigger how I have all of the stuff that I have. And we'll be talking shortly about how that's even better in March, but for now, like, that's just fucking amazing. All of the things, not all, 90% of the things that felt clunky and grindy and unfun to do are now just easy. Even dumb shit like when you don't get the missions you want on the board and you have to wait 5 minutes on the faction board to swap out your missions or whatever. I will literally just teleport because it's free. I'll teleport from, wherever I'm at. I'm like, okay, I got a couple minutes. I'm waiting for something. Like somebody's like, hey, I got to go get I got to run downstairs and go 2 blocks over to the deli and pick up my sandwich. Then I'll be ready to run this dungeon. I'll be back in like 10 minutes. I will just teleport to Reekwater and see if I can get a 3rd Lazarus mission. Teleport to Valor Hold, to the inn, where actually you don't have to teleport. Now your inns, they cut it from an hour down to 30 minutes. I'll go to Valor Hold, see if I can get a 3rd Genesis mission. Teleport to Restless Shore, see if I can get a 3rd Eridanus mission for the money on the side. Like, all of the things that were slow and grindy and bullshit are now sort of easy and fun, and they've made the catch-up mechanic such that new players starting the game today will never know the pain of all of the grind we went through. They'll just have it smooth. And I get that for some people, there's a tendency to get salty about that, of like, well, in my day, we had to do it the hard way. Don't be that guy. You want new players to get in more because that just grows the game overall. That's better for you in the end. You will get the rewards of higher populations and a better game by them fixing the starter experience that was clunky as fuck for us and making it fun for people. So that's where I'm at with it, and that's how I sum it up. It's just hit after hit after hit. I'm going to let the other 2 guys comment on that, and then we're going to get into March where the hits keep on coming. Go for it. Ark?
Yeah, at first I was a little worried. I mean, I love these. I love all the stuff. I'm enjoying it. But one of the things I have noticed is that I'm not like, I don't know. I guess I just find myself in just a couple particular areas. But I haven't been doing crafting. I haven't been doing other things. So that could just be because of that. But I mean, all the easy. I mean, that's why the game doesn't feel like a job anymore. You can go in and there's so much gypsum. I forgot you could even get it from the faction this morning. I just happened to be on there doing something. I was like, oh, I forgot about that. I didn't even get it there yesterday. So I think it's good, and I think what's useful if you're a guy like me and you like to play a lot of different builds. I've got like 4 DPS builds that I like to shovel around in a tank. So you can. I don't think it's going to be that hard for me to get another build. Maybe not the 625, everything maxed out, but like up in the 6 in competitive PvP lands, stuff like that, it won't be that difficult. So I'm excited because I thought that was going to kind of ruin the game for me. I mean, you guys remember how much tribulation I was going through just trying to figure out what build I'm going to actually play. So anyway, I think all good moves. I think for players coming in, it's the game being in the state it's in now, which is so much better. They're more likely to stay and have fun.
Hell yeah.
And that's what we need.
Hell yeah. Wolf, your summation on the thoughts on February.
Yeah, so my big thing that I was looking forward to was in the catch-up mechanics. Not just from the new player help make you climb the level ladder faster, thing, which it needed, because there was a couple places where you would stagnate and that would take some of the fun out of it. But where I'm sitting, I'm level 60. I didn't have really much above the 500 mark when we started. We were like, hey, let's do this. Let's start running dungeons and whatnot. And that was like that's a thing. Like you can run dungeons over and over again, but they does get kind of stale. Um, the change that says here's all the level 60 missions in these areas, and I wish it would just be in all areas that you could get them but I think that change is coming. It rewards gypsum for the whole purpose of we recognize that you're level 60. If you just got here, your gear score is 500, your expertise is 500. Here's more ways of climbing that ladder to get up to the 600 point. And if you happen to have more of these missions laying around after you've gotten all the stuff you want, expertise 600, you can use the gypsum cast to give yourself umbrals. And with OPR giving out umbrals the way it is now, so much easier to climb that ladder. Like I remember, what was it? 2 weeks ago, I was 570, maybe 580, and
No,
it would go
no.
up a little bit. What
Two
was
weeks
I?
ago, 2 weeks ago, you were like 550. You've flown up. You
Really?
have done
That's
fucking
true.
amazing.
I've noticed since this change, I've been able to kick off a lot of things and boost up my numbers way faster just because I have more venues to get gypsums to turn into casts to
Meanwhile,
update the stuff.
as of yesterday, you told me, "Hey Kai,
I'm
I'm at
595 now.
595." That's fucking great, man.
I'm
Big salute.
595 now.
Big salute to you for doing the work to get there, but also big salute, honestly, to AGS for, let's be honest, the only reason why you were only 550 before is because you were playing a little more on the casual side. You weren't part of sort of the made raid team or whatever, and you were just kind of chilling and doing your thing. And
Yep.
you set your sights on sort of joining us first as sort of an alternate, and now you're sort of graduated. I would say that like Drops is an alternate still, and that's awesome. You're now kind of moved up to like a full-on member. I think instead of having 5 full members and 2 alternates, we now have 6 full members and an alternate, and like you have done an amazing job, and part of that was due to your hard work, but a lot of that was down to Amazon Game Studios making it possible, changing how it worked to where it just wasn't a 6-month ball ache to get from A to B. It was
Yep.
a much more manageable system. So yeah, like I said, I'm in the 623 or whatever range, but like I've been on that grind as much as you can for as far as you could. You have very quickly caught up to the point where, I think this next week you're knocking on the door of 600. You're there. And
That's very possible, I think.
and Ark, where are you at? Where were you 2 weeks ago, and where are you at now? And how do you feel about the way they've sort of democratized it and made it a little easier for all of us to kind of get there?
Yeah, it's a taboo. What you just mentioned with Wolf as well is like once you get that 600, um, it's not hard to get up to like 610, 11. It's a pretty big jump from there. So that's you're gonna go up even more.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, for me, I was at five. Well, most of my builds were like 596 or something like that, 597. Um, and I'm still I'm still sitting on some stuff because I'm trying to only upgrade the weapons that I want to use, and I'm still missing a few. But I had, dude, I was like Wolf. I probably, as far as expertise went, I was casual. I wasn't when you guys were all using your gypsums. I took a break from the game for a while over the holidays. I wasn't. I missed a lot of that free gypsum from like the holiday thing, and you know, I was just going through it, and man, almost everything I have is 600, or it's in the 80 to 600 range. So and that was fast, and now, like I said, over these last few days, geez, I don't have any I don't have any any issues getting gypsum, because like there's like 5 things I'm looking for a day, and I'll get 5 quick, and then there's another 4 or 5 whatever floating around out there to try to find. So it's been great. It's like you said, it's what's going to keep. What's most important is what keeps players playing the game.
And gets new players to not, because there's new players starting this game every day, and when they were frustrated before, they would hit a wall and bounce, and now they're attaching more, and I think that's just so great for the health of the game.
It's too daunting, right? Like that was the game's problem a month ago. If you're a new player, it was just too daunting to, like, you just look at it and you're like, oh my god, I'm never gonna get, I'll never get up there. But you got reasons for old players to come back right now. You've got reasons for the players that are playing to stay. More are coming, and it's never been a better time to be a new player jumping in here. Not
Oh yeah.
for crafting, for leveling, for everything.
Now let's hit the elephant in the room. I don't want to gloss over it and act like it didn't happen. We have to mention it and then put it in context. When the February patch came out, there was a new dupe. Wolf actually found it by accident.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
And as a result of that dupe, there were some players who did not find it by accident that found it by accident or heard about it and then exploited the living shit out of it and used it to basically create items. The short version is, and I can say this because it's fixed now, the short version is if you had items in your bar, like health pots and food in that little bar on the side that you access with the 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you had those special items in there and you like moved it around or something, you could basically create duplicates. And so people were creating tens of thousands of the rabbit food that cost $180 or $150 or whatever, or tens of thousands of honing stones that are 170, the powerful honing stones that are $170 or whatever. They would take the most expensive stuff you can put there and they would fiddle with it and create duplicates and then sell them on the market. When that hit and Amazon Game Studios became aware of that, they were like, oh shit. Now, to their credit, here's what they did. They didn't roll back, which just hurts everybody that had actual legitimate gains during that time. What they did was they immediately suspended player-to-player wealth trading and or item trading, and they suspended the market board. It was down for a day and a half-ish, about a day, something like that. It was down for more than 24, less than 48 hours. And what they did in that time then, Friday night, while we were doing the other show, they literally took down the game at 7 o'clock at night, had it down for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. When it came back up, the note said, when it came back up, player-to-player trading would be back turned on, items and money, but the market board would still be turned off. And as soon as they could fix the market board side, which was not that far away, but they just didn't want to leave for the night and leave player-to-player trading off. So as soon as they could get market board trading back on, they would get back to us. Well, that wasn't the truth, because as an update, between the couple hours between when they put out that message and when they actually did the server reset, they did manage to lick whatever that third problem was with the market board. So when it came back up, all trading, money and items, was turned back on, and the market board worked again. What we have now gotten information on, both from them claiming, hey, this is what we did, and from Reddits and the forums being on fire of people that are whining and complaining, and also people literally on the Pluto server, there were wars and stuff where people were shitting a brick because their roster got fucked because half the people on their roster had been duping to make a ton of money. Amazon banned the accounts, perma-banned the accounts of the people that were duping, and went through and took all of those duped items out of the economy. They fixed it. That's the hardest way to fix it, and they did that. It's also the best way for us, because the people that did wrong got punished and the people that didn't. No rollbacks, because if they had done rollbacks, I put in work in that day and a half, I would have lost those gains. But no, they did it great. Is it a good look that they had another dupe issue? Of course not. Did they fix it the best way possible in under 2 days? Yes. As far as I'm concerned, yes, I'm not going to throw them a parade for being so good for fixing it, because it's like, guys, you gotta stop these dupes. But, I mean, look, over the course of the game, over the long haul, in under 2 days, they made it right. That, I think, is like, all right, you don't want to have to be in the issue in that area where you're dealing with it, but if you do have to, god damn, they did a good job of solving it. Wolf, your thoughts on this, and then Ark.
I mean, the whole point of having the PTR is so that we can get the code out, let people play with it, blah blah blah. I am absolutely certain that this dupe issue did not exist on the PTR, because like I told you, like I saw the thing pop up and I was like, there's a new dupe issue, and then a little thing in the back of my head's like, well, maybe that wasn't you being lazy or forgetting to do something last night. What I had done completely by accident was the whole dupe thing, but with a couple stacks of my infused health potions.
Which
'Cause I
nobody
was-
would dupe that, because those things are worthless.
They
We've
drop
all
like-
got
They
tons of
drop
them.
like candy.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, you know, we got done doing a couple of our runs, and I remember going to Reekwater, and the first thing I do is I take it out of the hotbar slot, I split things up, and I was doing whatever, and I got caught up with, oh wait, I want to rearrange how my food's done too with a couple things, and then I started throwing the health potion back and forth just because it was easier. And by the time I got done, apparently I had forgotten to do the last part of this whole thing, which is, hey, now that you're not carrying around a full stack of infused health potions, because when we go and do whatever anywhere else, I'm probably going to get some anyway, so it doesn't count against me, you know, for weight-wise, take my excess and throw it in the locker at Reekwater and leave. Well, I didn't do that. So the next day, after looking at it, reading up on the bug report, which why in the living hell do they make that part of the bug reporting process like, hey, I found something you can exploit, everybody come read it? Like, of course everybody's gonna come read it. So I looked at it and was like, oh well, that's neat, everything's been locked up already, but gotcha. And then I went back to Reekwater. I was like, okay, I know I had 3 stacks of these, and I should have had 4 yesterday. And I went and I looked, and I had 6 total stacks by the time I actually put everything back in Reekwater. I was like, oh, well.
Oops.
Huh.
Yeah. So to your
This should
larger
have been
point,
found on the PTR if it was a thing. It
Yeah.
obviously wasn't. Stop changing shit between here's the tested version, go to production release, because you're defeating the purpose of your PTR.
So to your larger point, yes, do a better job in how you roll out those PTRs to carefully check the stuff. But with regard to how they fixed it, your thoughts, your opinion.
I'm glad that they didn't do a rollback, because that would have sucked, because I had done a number of things, notionally climbing that fucking expertise ladder. That would have been a big oof. I am glad that they got it knocked out quick, just because it was coming around to the weekend, and if we had to endure the weekend with that, you know, still being a thing,
That would have sucked.
people would have been very unhappy. As far as like people getting all butthurt from, hey, you know, whatever person in my group did this and he's a really important player, blah blah blah. Like, they've made it very clear, if you exploit, we will swing the ban hammer at you. Like in my situation where I found it and, you know, I did it, you know, however many
accident.
times, it must have been, you know, 3 or 4, I guess. I don't know. I literally didn't give it much of a thought and just carried on with life just because I was tired and at least half drunk. Like they've already said that we don't have a problem with that. You're not abusing the system.
Yeah, the guy
Guess
that
what?
does 10,000 stacks of food that cost 100 for one.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah,
guy got
guess-
fucked.
Guess what? You abused the living fuck out of the system. You violated the terms of service. Happy go fuck yourself and go buy the game again.
Ark.
Yeah, I would have had a heart attack if I know we talked about this before. I've never seen a game, and maybe it happens, and it happens just for a couple hours, and I didn't notice it, or whatever else. I've never, all the MMOs I've played, I've never played and seen like a day or so or more rolled back. Just at the intensity some players play, and I had a big day that day just on gypsums and everything else. I would have been so angry if they'd have rolled that back. I think they did it the right way. I didn't notice it at all. I didn't even see that really the any weirdnesses in the trade or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think they did it the right way. I think this is obviously gonna. They'll always have some kind of weird things like that. Honestly, I didn't feel too bad about it. Here's what I hate. I hate when I turn on the content creators, the ones that are more wishy washy, and it's like just spells doom. Like, oh my god, it's all over now. No, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude, I don't even think it's a bad look for the game. I think we're starting to see that this is a trend, and I think the players that are here accept that, and I think the new players don't probably recognize it that much, especially the way they handled it. They handled it in a way that doesn't really impact anybody. So I'm good with it. I suspect that that's something this game's just going to have from time to time. Might have something to do with the way the code is, the way the trade house is, or something like that, or the way the inventory is working right now.
Okay.
That's the least of my worries. That particular bug.
All right. All right. So, having gotten that elephant, in the room addressed and moved on past, let's talk about the way the week rolled out with regard to news about the March patch, because it came in waves. There were sort of sections. The first thing was there were last week, we already discussed it. There was I think maybe we didn't discuss it on the show. I lose track of our conversations on and off air. First, there was a tweet where somebody tweeted after the February talk, which came out, which was a little different because unlike all the other talks, the February talk, they were like, hey, let's talk about what's coming in the March thing, they were like, hey, let's talk about what we did in February, which I think we already sort of discussed. Like, we were kind of feeling a little like, about that. But after that, somebody tweeted the official New World account and said, yeah, cool, February talk, that's all nice, but when are we getting the blunderbuss? And the official New World Twitter account tweeted back, don't worry about it, the blunderbuss is coming in March. Enjoy! Smiley face. And everybody lost their motherfucking minds because that was the unofficial official announce of the blunderbuss in March. That was then pulled down like an hour later because I'm sure somebody got reamed of, hey, jerk off, we didn't officially announce it yet. You're not supposed to announce stuff on our Twitter account like that. So that got pulled down. But in the time that it was up, people got pictures of it. It was on the official site. All the content creators created content talking about it. I think we even talked about it. So that was the first thing. Then the New World official Twitter account posted a spoilers coming in March, 3 images without any context. The first image was a dude standing there with what was obviously the blunderbuss shooting it, but he had a big like finger gun emoji over the blunderbuss itself. So it was like, we're telling you what it is, but we're not telling you what it is. The second image was Isabella with like heart emojis all around her. And the third image was the Spider-Man meme of 3 Spider-Mans pointing each other like, it's you, it's you, it's you, but they're all Spider-Man. They're all the same. Now, we had already heard in the February talk, Scott Lane, the senior games director for New World, say specifically, the only thing that they really said about the March update at the very tail end, the last like 10 seconds of the damn talk, he was like, our March update is going to put a stamp on the existing and wrap up the existing storyline to end this chapter, and then we will be, continuing from there in with new stories. But so obviously that indicated like Isabella and or Thorpe. So when you take that statement by Scott Lane and the tweet, which content creators were already speculating, like, okay, that has to mean that they're wrapping up the Isabella storyline. So we know Isabella's lair is a dungeon that's been data mined. They've talked about whatever. So it's got to be that. Then when the tweet came out, the no context spoiler leak tweet, people were like, oh my God, it's going to be that. Subsequently, we then got the full actual release where they said, hey guys, the PTR is going to be up tomorrow, so we might as well tell you now, here's what's coming in the March release. And oh my fucking God, was there good stuff in that. Number one, new weapon, the blunderbuss. Surprises nobody, but it gave us details about it, and it looks fucking awesome.
It does.
The blunderbuss is a strength int weapon. It has two trees. The one tree is the containment tree that seems to be very much like geared towards pairing with a bruiser build or a tank build for gap closing and crowd control abilities. The second build is the chaos build or chaos tree, which seems to be much more likely to be paired int based with, you know, musket users, fire staff users, ice gauntlet users, void gauntlet users, bow users. It's a ranged AoE specific damage build. Both of these look super, super cool. We're going to hit into more detail, but I just want to kind of go down the list of the main points of what we got from the notes. The second thing is we're getting a new expedition, which in this game is the dungeon. So a new expedition called, what is it, the Realm of Chaos or something? Chaos, Heart of Chaos, which is
Heart of Chaos.
Which is, I think, probably Isabella's Lair was probably the internal name that the company had, where there was just like, what is it? It's Isabella's dungeon. But when they're releasing it to us, the forward-facing community, the consumers, they're calling it the Heart of Chaos. This has already been played by people on the PTR. The PTR is live, and you can play that dungeon now. It's a 580. It is very long, very fun, has multiple main storyline spoilers, has an interdimensional aspect of it, and has some really, really cool fight mechanics that are extremely challenging compared to Laz and Genesis. It is 550 or 580, whatever. So if you're 625 geared, obviously it's going to be a little easier for you. But these are the two biggie things, and there's a bunch of little things. I want to start with Ark and then Wolf. I want to get your opinions on both the blunderbuss and the dungeon. Ark, you do it, and then hand it off to Wolf. Blunderbuss and dungeon, go for it.
All right, so I'll stop say I don't know much about the dungeon. I didn't look much into that, but I have been. You guys know me to be like I love the theocraft of weapons. That's like my shtick. And I have been thinking all kinds of craziness with this blunderbuss, man. I wrote in the chat when it first hit, and I was thinking, you know, with a strength build, predator style, you know, just netting fools, closing in on them, dropping all kind of pain down. Oh man, you know, I don't know about the grappling thing, but then I started looking at, you know, a lot of the different artillery stuff. I was like, oh my God. It's just going to be so many like there's a lot to consider and think about because of a few things really. Wars, outpost rush, 1v1s, everything is going to be done differently now. It's going to change. It's going to be a weapon that changes sort of how the game is played at multiple levels because of the things that it can do. We see this right now in Outpost Rush, for example. I know you guys both play bruisery builds, so I know you've seen the you know all the fire stickies running around, and it's of course it's made, you know, rushing one of the forts. It's made it like, you know, being on the beaches storming freaking, you know, Normandy. It's been tough. There's like just blowing up happen everywhere. Now imagine take the freaking blunderbuss into account, right? man, you're gonna have so much damage, so much stuff going on. You're not gonna be able to bulk up in like little groups. I'm pretty stoked for it, man. I think, and I like the fact that it's intellect and strength because it helps. In a lot of ways, it's going to help us, help different folks figure out, newer hybrid builds. So I like all of that. I'm just stoked about it. On the other note, like I don't know much about the thing. Honestly, I haven't looked at all at the new dungeon, but I'm happy to see it. That much I can tell you for sure. I'm happy to see a new content. I'm tired of running the ones that we've been running this whole time. You know, and I'm excited to see kind of what gear is going to pop out. Hopefully, you know how it was in MMOs. We'd always, as dungeons progressed, they got better. So I'm interested to see like if there's cool new mechanics for us to check out and all of it, man. I'm just stoked. I said this way back in the thing, and I'll pass it over to Wolf. And it used to piss some dudes off on our server. I said if Amazon continues at this pace to continue to push, this much content and updates and listening to the crowd and fans, like this is a ideal game for content creators everywhere because there's so much to cover. There's so much to check out. There's always something new. I think they're on a great path, man. I'm digging it.
Right on, Wolf. Real quick, I will
Yeah.
say, with regard to that, you were saying you don't know about that grappling hook. Here's the thing with that grappling hook. Number one, it's taunt gem compatible, and the point of that is that one little fucking guy that always just wants to stick to the healer. You can literally, as the tank or as a bruiser, swap to that. Grapple hook that guy, yank him off the tank, give him like a Kung Lee, get over here. And the thing is now taunted onto you. Like, that is slick. Go ahead, Wolf.
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude. And I was being selfish, not thinking about like tanking or PvE. But you're right. That's gonna be cool.
Go ahead, Wolf.
Yeah, the so when they had been talking about the blunderbuss before, they had said, we're gonna change some mobility aspects, in the game and whatnot. And we were all thinking, oh, it's gonna have a grappling hook, and we're gonna maybe use it to scale mountains and get to places that we shouldn't go, blah blah blah. It does have a grappling hook, but it only lets you go up by 3 meters. Now that doesn't mean that there's probably going to be a band of individuals who are going to figure out how to climb the steepest mountains that we shouldn't be able to climb and do stuff. But I can understand why the limit is there, just so that things can't be cheesed and whatnot. But I am a little disappointed that I can't be running around in the mines of Murkgard and be like, oh, I want to get up to that chest that's up there. Or break aggro and just fire it up and jump up to that level and watch everything go, well, where'd he go?
Hey, 3 meters is enough to reset some stuff if you do it right. Yeah.
That's true. It might work. Just dangle from the ceiling, but you can't see me until somebody big comes over and turns you into a pinata. The blunderbuss, looking at it, the left side of the tree, being a bruiser build, I find that extremely interesting, especially since it's a strength capable weapon. So I don't have to respec any of my stuff. I don't have to rethink any of my other gear. I just put that weapon on, and now I can do range damage. And if I want to, I can do the whole scorpion and grab somebody and get up in their face, and now I'm in the middle of the fray where I can say swap over to the great axe of the hammer and do those AoEs and
That's
just
going to be
become a crowd control nightmare.
See, here that is going to be the thing. I'm telling you right now, this weapon is going to shift. It's going to sort of shift around the entire meta of this game, and here's why. Because you can move up to 40 meters with that little grappling hook. So you shoot, like, let's say you're doing outpost rush. You're on the outside. They keep throwing grav wells. You're on the outside. You're trying to, like, back and forth. It's that one of those you're trying to push in and get to the point. Or, you're in a war. You pick a mage, a healer, somebody backline that's, 40 meters back. You pick somebody, the front line that you're facing is 20 meters away. The back line is 15 meters behind that. You pick one of those guys. You click the little grappling hook, fire it off. Now, basically, you just got to teleport 36 meters. You're in the back line. And now you swap to the Great Hammer and you drop that, you drop that jump up and slam down, AoE stun, whatever. Like, that is going to shake up the entire meta because of the ability. It's one of those situations where it's good and bad. It's awesome, and it's an ever-evolving game. It'll happen. But I guarantee you, it's going to be AIDS when you're trying to defend against a group of bruisers that are now running around with the ability to just teleport themselves 40 meters up into the heart of your backline and then go ham. Like, oh my God. And you're going to hear so much, oh, it's OP, nerf it, this, that, and the other. And it'll, like everything else, I guarantee you, this weapon is going to come out OP. All weapons, all new weapons in games like this, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, they come out OP. All new ships in Star Citizen come out OP. If Elite Dangerous gave new ships, they'd be OP. Everything comes out OP, and then it goes through a balance. There's going to be continual balance and shifting and moving and whatever, and then it'll find its right niche. But it's going to be fun. No pun intended. Watching the chaos, because chaos is one of the trees for this weapon. Watching the chaos that comes out when this weapon hits the meta and the players, because in all of these games, let's be honest, and I'm not shitting on Amazon Game Studio. This is a truth among every game you play. If the game is good, the fact of the matter is the devs that are good at playing the game are not necessary, or at making the game are not at all necessarily good at playing the game. So all of this shit, the devs come out with what they think is balance, and then they turn it over to us little murder hobos, and we get to have fun and cause fucking mayhem. And it will be. So, yes, that's the weapon. And that's the new dungeon. The new dungeon does have way more mechanics in it. It has more bosses, and it is considerably longer than the other dungeons. And it's got some cool storyline tie-ins to it. I don't want to say any more than that with regard to the story, because I do not want to spoil anything for anyone. But it's got very neat shit in there, and people who previously had commented that, the New World expeditions, they kind of bore me. They don't lack, they lack a lot of kind of the higher whatever. People that are saying, hey man, this is on par with the Final Fantasy 14 or a WoW dungeon. This has way higher mechanics and way more interesting mixing of things than does the Lazarus or Gen or whatever, which I'm super, super stoked for. I like Lazarus and Gen, but I have also run them till my eyeballs bleed. And I also, when I hear, hey, those are okay, but this one's way better, man, that makes me excited, because I like the other one. So if this new one is way better, wow, I'm stoked. Here's some other things we know about. Number one, massive change. Ready? You can, from the map, sign up for wars, invasions, and outpost rush anywhere. Huge quality of life improvement. Number two, they're doubling the amount of all house storage. So if you have a 500-pound chest, it's now a 1,000-pound chest. If you have a 200-pound chest, it's now a 400-pound chest. What that means for me is I go from having 3 houses with 3,500 pounds of storage to having 3 houses that have each 6,000 pounds of storage. Amazeballs. I'm so psyched. Number 3. In addition to that increased storage, they're now making it to where you can click on any storage anywhere in the world, whether you own it or not. That's entirely irrelevant. And for free, just drag and drop and move shit around to your heart's content. Huge quality of life change. Now,
Discuss that one for a second.
go for it.
So, what we have currently is, so say town A is green, and I'm in town B, and it's green, and I want to grab the stuff from A and put it into B. I go to the storage locker. I, click over the thing. I want to transfer it. It costs
Hundreds of
gold to
dollars.
do so.
Lots of money.
It's expensive, like prohibitively so. And you can only do it if your faction owns each end.
Both
so
ends. Yep.
Yeah. Is it
So
getting
now
changed such that you can
drops,
just move
it drops all of that. Number one, doesn't matter who owns either of the two towns. Any two towns, if you have a storage, you can move stuff. And number two, it's free. $0.
That's so awesome.
Yes.
Now give us a mailbox.
Another change that's being added to the game is that wait, what? There was another awesome change that I was like, holy shit, I cannot wait for that. Well, we already discussed the outpost rush changes that you're going to get points for capturing the point. What was the other thing? There was another known thing that I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. I cannot wait for that. And I'm blanking just at the moment. Already?
I think the fact of the matter is there's so many new good changes that it just
You can't keep track.
the mind boggles. You can't keep track of it. Just jump in and play the game. You will have a absolute blast.
And here's the last thing. If you remember back to where we started this part of the conversation, we started with Amazon released 3 tweets of spoilers of stuff coming in March that they didn't give us details on. The first was the new weapon. They've now given us all the details on that. It's awesome. The second was something to do with the continuation of the Isabella storyline. They've given us all the details on it. That's awesome. The third was the Spider-Man meme of Marauders, Covenant, and Syndicate all pointing at each other, but it was like, it takes it from the Spider-Man meme of we're all the same. What does that mean? They have said nothing about that. That is completely and conspicuously absent from the PTR notes. Now, they did this in February. They gave us PTR notes, but it was PTR notes for Wave 1, which was Week 1. Then PTR notes for another change they made in Week 2. Then PTR notes for another change they made in Week 3. There's still a huge... It's obviously to them, they considered the 3 big things of March to be Blunderbuss, New Dungeon, and X. So X is along the lines of being as important as those other 2 things. So it's not a small change. It's massive. Now that could be they're changing the way that the RVR, the Realm v Realm, the Marauders, like factions, they're changing how factions work. It could be, hey, they're putting in a new 3v3 arena, and it doesn't matter... we sign up based on arena teams, so it could be I'm on a Marauders, Ark is on Syndicate, and we find some third dude who's on Covenant, and we're on a 3v3 arena team, and in which case it kind of makes sense of it's like, hey, we're all the same, because it's a new mode of gameplay in which your faction is irrelevant. Or it could mean something like there's a new outpost rush out, and it's going to be Marauders versus Syndicate versus Covenant. Or it could be something else. But there is a third huge question mark out there that will be coming this month that has not been addressed by anyone, is sort of getting overlooked in the hype for the other things that we've been so excited for. Do you guys have any speculation on what it could be, or thoughts on what you would like to see, or whatever?
I got some wild ass speculation.
Go for it.
So the whole purpose of the RVR to this point was get things your color, and that way you can travel around easy. You can move stuff around at all. They're taking that out of the equation. At this point, I don't care what the color of a town is. I only care that the town has the facilities available to do what I want crafting wise and whatnot. Where all of us we're in this together and don't care what color flag you stand behind, is against the corrupted in the invasions and whatnot. Maybe, just maybe, they're realizing that the whole RVR thing kind of bred a level of fuckiness that they didn't really want to deal with. And now, instead of trying to split the player base apart to fight with each other like that, we need to fight against a big bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably could be corrupted. It could be something new. But hey, your petty squabbles that you've been doing, yeah, y'all need to knock that off, because here's this giant elephant about to come busting through the door Kool-Aid Man style.
Ark, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the next thing that's going to come is going to be a PvP mode. I think we're going to see probably the most likely thing to do and answer like a bunch of people's requests would be just to simply make Outpost Rush, or not Outpost Rush, but Wars. Make Wars a PvP or a queued PvP mode with a ranking system. I think that makes the most sense. New World Go was talking about it a little bit ago. That'd be a good thing. It just makes the most sense to me, and I think it'd be really easy to do. And I think a PvP mode is going to be the new kind of thing that's going to come, because they've just put a ton of PvE content, and they're in March, and they're adding to the story. It makes sense to me now that they would go back into PvP and see what they come up with to kind of appease the hardcore PvP players.
So I recall now what the other thing was that I was like, there was another thing that was cool. What the hell was it? So, check this out. They're adding world encounters to the game. Now, most of these are for the leveling people. Most of these are, a level 20 guy, a level 30 guy, a level 40 guy. There's something in Weaver's Fen, and there's something here, and there's something there. One of these is an endgame thing. The guy's name is like, I forget, it's like Rattlebones the Collector or some shit. This guy, you can find him at lower levels, and he's a lower level. But if you find him in the level 60 zones, he is a level 60 plus mob. And this reminds me of, remember the loot goblins in Golden Axe? The little loot guys would show up, and you had to kill them real quick because they would like run away. They didn't fight you at all. They would just run around the screen like, and then run away. And if you killed them real quick, they dropped their sack of loot, and you got to loot it. It's the same thing with these new guys that they're adding. The like Rattlebones the Collector or whatever the hell, he will be in your area. He'll be close to you for 40 seconds. If you don't kill him in that time, he will run away. And if you kill him, for all of these guys, they will drop a named weapon or a named piece of gear of sort of that appropriate level. And with the Rattlebones guy, if you kill him, he will also drop 500 umbrals.
Ooh.
That's just fucking cool. It's cool of just random encounters. It's just cool as a concept. The reward is cool of a named item that's roughly at that level, and or 500 umbrals for people that are whatever. That's several outpost rushes. But like, just the idea, you take the reward out of it, even if they were just like, and you'll get 1,000 coins. Like, it's just a cool idea, period. I think it's neat, and I'm super, super excited.
Well, for the November update, we had Turkulon, the world boss that would show up, and then for the winter stuff, we had the Yetis that were in the different places. But those were, you had to go to a specific area. I think Turkulon could move around a little bit. Dude, those things are just so fun. Like I wish there were more holiday event type things that we could do just to have more of that. But having just random smaller whatever things of run around, do whatever, pay attention, hey, here's the loot pinata, go smack it. Totally, that it will make people want to go out into the countryside to go do stuff, because I highly doubt they're going to put these spawns in the POI locations
No, they're gonna
for
be out.
many things.
They're gonna be out
They're
in the
just
world.
going to be out there.
And
They're just going to be out there and you find them.
funny you should mention the Yeti. One of many of the things they named what the things are. One of them is the Lost Yeti. There's a Yeti that was from the winter event, but he got lost and he's like wandering the woods trying to find his way out. You got to kill him. One of them's like Stinky the Hunter that you have to kill in Weaver's Fen. And the fact that they call him Stinky the Hunter and he's in Weaver's Fen, to me, I'm like, does this have anything to do with that one mission where we made perfume out of like deer anal glands or whatever? Like, it's got to be for that guy.
Gotta be for that guy.
And then Rattlebones, the loot collector or whatever, that his story is he's literally running around the world looting dead bodies, getting stuff. Like, he's just searching for loot. And, you know, sometimes it ends up badly for him. He gets fucked, and then you get his loot.
Yeah, just real quick on that note, like there was a lot of cool things too that were just happening on other like you the dudes. I totally, by the way, saw Golden Axe too, right? That this little dude running around, so I totally got that. But there was also a lot of stuff for different levels. So like, you know, at level 30, this dude will come around, or at level whatever, this dude will come around. So that was really cool. But the you know, I kind of see him as those. Remember those, like, whatever it was called? I can't remember the meteors that would come down. That's how I kind of like think of it that way. You know, it's like these meteors crash down in a certain place. Just same thing. It's like some dude rolls out of nowhere.
As you're right.
Epic experience where you get to, like, you know, as you say, that's 500. That's 5 freaking wins. An outpost. That's a nice little reward.
Hell yeah.
You know, that's a level, I think, you know, 19-20 boost on your you know, weapon or something like that. So I think those are really cool things, and you know, more welcome additions to the game.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So I'm super psyched and ready for the stuff that's come. I honestly feel like the February update brought interest back to the game and made it way more fun. The March update is just continuing along that theme so well. I want to point out, just as a side note, they're doing bundles now on the store. So as before, it's like, I want to get the Runic Fox armor, or the Runic Bear armor, or the Runic whatever the third one, Wolf armor. And now you can get all 3 together. Or I want to get this weapon set or that weapon set. Now you can get all 3 together. They're you know, continuing to add more and more stuff in there, and just I'm looking around now between the February update, got a lot of people's attention, and then content creators were like, well, that looks cool. I'm interested. Let's see what they do in March. I even saw a thing where Asmongold, who'd previously sort of been shitting on the game, was reacting to a Damone Kim video where he's like, New World's back, baby. And Asmongold was like, oh, that's awesome. Because he's like, I was afraid the game was going to die because he's like, I'll be honest with you, I love playing that game. There's a lot of content creators that are like, we love playing that game, but the new hotness is Elden Ring and on Lost Ark, so we're playing those right now. But people are seeing this and they're making very positive comments on it, and it's starting to be like, yeah, I think I'm going to do a stream or 2 of that next week, whatever. I'm telling you, New World is back on the come up, and I am so very excited. This is exactly what they need to do, moving in the right direction. Less grindy, more fun, more options, more freedoms, and they have also said that in March, somewhere in the next couple weeks, they're going to do a big video with a roadmap of, hey man, here's what we're looking at approximately for like the next year or so. So like, not just, hey, here's what's coming in 30 days, but here is, you know, a plan of wave after wave of what's to come. I am super stoked for that, and I think that that's going to bring a lot of attention back and a lot of like players to come back, and it's going to be a reattach time. And I think that obviously soon we're going to be getting Brimstone Sands and New Zone, and or when they add in PvP arenas, and or when they add in raids. I honestly think you're going to see the population of the game not explode. The first time was an explosion, and it was too much too fast, and it led to some growing pains. But I think you're going to see it now just steady incline with wave after wave, month after month. And I'm super, super stoked for what's coming next. I think I've talked myself out. I've talked way too much. So I'm going to hand it over to Wolf. Your closing thoughts, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to add in, and then say goodnight to the beautiful people, and then we'll go to Ark. Go for it, Wolf.
I'm having so much fun playing New World. Aside from when we want to sit down and do expeditions and whatnot, I'll still just pick up the game, play it for 30, 45 minutes casually, and have a great time. I love the changes that they've made for even when I'm doing that, for being able to get some progression with, go run around, check loot boxes and whatnot. Okay, but I can do other stuff and get the gypsum casts and get my upgrades a bit more directly.
And you're getting gypsum for doing all of these quests in Shattered Mountain and Reekwater now. That's so great.
Yeah, it's so great. I was a little salty about, well, I've already done a bunch of these. Am I going to get a credit or something for that? And, of course not, because reasons. But there's still enough for me to choose from that I think that's a non-issue. I'm having great fun playing this game, and I still just run around, and I'll stop places and just watch the sunset or, whatever's going on, at this high overlook of a valley in Eden Grove or something. Like that. It's so pretty, it's so relaxing, it's so much fun, and I love everything that they've done for all the quality of life changes. It has made the game better and honestly a bit more endearing to what I want to do in the game.
Shameless plug, come and play with us on the Pluto server, North America East, Pluto. Come and join us. Join the Marauder faction and hit us up. Black Sky Legion, Discord, Black Sky Legion, Marauder faction company. Come and join us. Wolf.
Again?
I'm sorry, Ark. You know me with my names.
One thing I thought I saw too, just on your note about the quests, I thought I read that there's gonna be level 60 quests in Evanscale too.
I think we think that's coming with the Evanscale ones as well, but we don't know yet.
Either way, man, it's just all good things, as you said. The other thing Asmongold said, and we've been saying it for a while now, is this game is not dead, and it's not dead because it's built on a really good structure. It's got good bones, and you can do a lot for this game. There's a lot of ways to kind of take it. I still haven't seen anything do what it does, and now that you're adding in this blunderbuss, for the reasons I mentioned earlier, there's so many new opportunities I think it's going to bring that you don't even who knows. And this is my casual theater crafting and stuff like that, but there's going to be dudes out there to figure so many different builds, so many different hybrid options. I already like the fact that when I'm playing, I sort of there's a little bit more of this build or that build, but you still see tons of other new builds. And the latest sort of Ice Gauntlet musket build that has me infatuated that I saw someone play with just shows me that there's a continual creativity and viable options in this game. And I don't know any game that has this many viable options you can play in. So I'm stoked. I'm ready to see what's next.
Right on. All right. I think that does it for the night, everybody. We love you, and enjoy, and come play some New World with us, please. It would be great.